Well, hello there, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for joining me. What's up, Two Hit? Is that Manic, Satellite, Bacon, RV Winkle, Worst Elephant, Lojo High? Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing so good. I'm so happy. I am so happy it is Friday on so many levels. What's up, Eva? What's up, Toast? Y'all have come up with some really good jokes for this background already. Picture it. I'm sure Oddish will start playing a game soon. Let's just be patient. Shown in picture, Fury Fighter waiting for Clear B. What's up, Dom? How you doing? But yes, I'm so happy it's Friday. This is a very... I feel like I say this a lot. This is a very tedious week. I was absolutely... Oh my god, RV Winkle. Thank you so much for subscribing for 16 months, dude. Cheers to you. Look what I have. Something a little bit different to mark the occasion. My neighbor gave me this. This is a token of his appreciation. It's beer. I am not a beer drinker. I very rarely drink beer. But I was presented this. Modern Times. This is a fruit sour, if that makes any sense to you. Passion fruit and guava. Actually really nice. Actually quite nice. Yes, this is the one that has the home brewery. Yeah, as a token of his thanks for watching their cats while they're on vacation, he dropped off a couple of these beers, which I've been enjoying, and a bottle of ice wine, which is maybe the most delicious wine my wife and I have ever had. We were like over the moon for this. Are you gonna wear that costume to other streams, or is it just this one? That costume? That costume? Dare I ask what it is you're referring to? Sounds like a Walgreens brand beer. I mean, look at it. It is pretty spoopy, isn't it? Oh, God. Sounds like drinking a fruit gummy. No, it's not that sweet. It's a sour. It's a tropical fruit sour. So it's got a tang to it, but it's also got like a bitterness to it, which I think for a beer complements it pretty well, honestly. So yeah, I started this during our sushi party for dinner. I had a lot of sushi tonight, so I'm happy on so many levels right now. I'm so pleased, and I have been looking forward to tonight for weeks. I have been giddy about tonight. The thing that like I don't want to say like drives me nuts, but like excites me the most about streaming is having a plan and sharing it. And I have had this plan for weeks. I've been sitting on this for weeks, and now internet goes out in 5, 4. Now I finally get to spill the beans, and I'm very excited about that. So excited, in fact, that I put together this whole presentation. You did, Fury. You made it. We're not actually going to start for a while. I got some rambling that I want to do before we get into the meat of tonight, because I want to make sure that the folks who do want to hear about what we're doing for Spooktober have plenty of time to get in and get situated and get their ice creams, get their evening drinks, get all nestled in. Now for the plan to be blown up. Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan. Yeah. Yes, Toast just put some popcorn on. Yeah. Yeah, no, we'll talk about it. I have a schedule. I'm going to present for you an entire schedule. This is maybe the first time I will ever have planned out an entire month of streams ahead of time, at least publicly. But you and we all know it's not going to go according to plan. It never does. No battle plan survives contact with chat. What's up, Deep Thought? Today was really good for you as well. The weather was balmy, 21 degrees Celsius. You know, the sensible one for the first time in ages. Well, that's nice. Yeah, it was really pleasant around here, too. The weather here in the South Bay was quite nice. Adjust that a bit. I hope you're enjoying the dark ambiance I found to listen to tonight. Nerd. Speaking of nerds, I actually had some time for some video games today. You know what I did? You know what I did, chat? You know what I did? You know what I did? I played Terraria again. I played a bunch of Terraria again, and it is so nice to go back to. It's all just this dork ambiance. Oh, you're in the tail end of Ian? Nothing like Florida? No. No, Bacon, that's for after the stream. That's oddish after dark, really. One day I'll finally try Terraria. No time like the present. I mean, it is insane how much they've expanded this game. Okay, so here's the deal. I played Terraria when it came out. I loved it. I thought it was great. But I just kind of bummed around and did whatever, right? When they first added hard mode to the game, the one that you could trigger by beating a boss in the game, I played that. And I played that until I did pretty much everything you could do in the game. And then I haven't really seriously been back to Terraria since this absolute deluge of updates they put into it over the last, what, like 10 years? It's insane how much they've added to this game. So coming back to it now, oh my god, there are like dozens of equipment slots and all these new equipment types and upgrades, and you have all this control over your residences, and crafting is so much better now. That's the thing that really blows my mind. Everything is better. And I feel like games, especially like crafting survival-y games, as they add more stuff, they tend to get like really bloated and really unwieldy, but Terraria somehow has added all this junk without making it impossible to keep up with. It feels like every time they added something new, like a new set of accessories or a new gear level or something like that, they also added a bunch of quality of life stuff that makes it possible to keep up with everything that's been thrown in there. And it's been a wonderful experience. I'm enjoying it so much. Spent like $120 on plushies and charms in the last 2 days. That actually sounds really fun, Toad. That sounds really, really nice. I want my younger daughter's really into Kirby stuff, and my wife is just into cute stuff. And I've been thinking, I used to have a Kirby and Meta Knight plushie, just little ones, just little like grapefruit sized ones. But man, I want them. I want them. I want a whole menagerie of Kirby characters. Just like, I don't know. Forget the posters. Just like have like a giant pile of Kirby plushies just in my background. I think that'd be perfect. Was not interested in oh my god, Krager! Holy shit, dude. Thank you so much for the gift subs. Dude, that is so generous of you. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad you're here, too. I'm so glad you get to hear the schedule. At least as I planned it. So. Was not interested in Terraria until I learned that after the initial ore base sets, you get shit like rocket boots and like... It's... Yeah, Eva, I don't know how recently you played it, how thoroughly you played it. Shit is nuts. Like, I played for like... I want to say like... maybe 2 hours today, and I already have a lightsaber. I'm already running around with a Mace Windu purple lightsaber, and it fucking owns. I'm seeing a lot of videos going, this is the end of 7 Days to Die on the upcoming alpha. Literally nothing positive, all doomsayer shit. Don't you hate it when people do that? Terraria does have big difficulty spikes. I remember Terraria used to feel very stratified. Like, the base game stuff was fine. The initial bosses, getting into hard mode and whatnot. And then there was like challenge mode stuff, like the original Blood Moon, and like the bosses, like what at the time were the end game bosses in hard mode were just absolutely bonkers. Just complete nonsense bullshit. I don't know if it's evened out at all. I have to assume with all this stuff that they've thrown into the game, it has to make a bit more sense, but yeah. That's cute, though. Played up to the wall, flesh expert mode. That's about as far as I've gotten. Okay. Okay. Couldn't get your head around Terraria's controls. Was on the V. Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to play Terraria with a controller, honestly. I mean, I'm sure it's fine if you get used to it, but keyboard and mouse works really well for Terraria. You have a lot of precision in aiming ranged weapons and in building stuff. The building stuff in Terraria is just, it's so nice. And that was before they added all the quality of life things. Like, I'm seeing now that there are accessories that, like, they make you build faster. They greatly extend your building range. And I think endgame, there's stuff for, like, just converting huge swaths of materials into other materials and stuff. Speaking of Cragger's emote, I can't wait for all the Wiglet emotes. Oh yeah, I've been seeing the the deluge of Wiglet stuff on Twitter. It's hilarious. I like that you have to build the back walls. I do too. I do too. It's maybe not. I don't love the way the back walls are implemented because of the way they have to overlap each other. But it's smart. It's a good way to do it. Because it makes it much clearer what's interior areas and what's exterior areas, and also it's great for decorating too. Like you can make some really neat wall patterns yourself, just with basic materials. So. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm probably gonna play it after the stream tonight, assuming I'm still conscious after the stream, because it's been a week. But yeah, I think Terraria is probably gonna be my go-to game for a couple weeks. I'm definitely gonna get into expert mode, and I'm gonna see how far I can get in that. They also added some new starts to the game. One that I'm really interested in is called Don't Dig Up, where they reversed everything. Instead of starting on the surface and digging down, you start at the bottom of the world. You start in the underground and you dig up. And they rebalanced and redid everything, and I think they designed a whole new overworld for this mode, where like the deep caves that you start in are nice and peaceful and stuff, and then when you get to the surface, it's just like an absolute hellscape. So I'm really interested to check that out. Yeah, Hollow Earth Theory, exactly, Zem. Wiggle it just a little bit. Dig up, stupid. No, don't. You'll die. It'll be terrible. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun already, and I'm not even that far into it. I mean, I've beaten the first two bosses. Also, I beat the boss of the Crimson for the first time, but because back when I was playing, they didn't have the Crimson. It was only the Corruption. So I just rolled up a random world, and it happened to have the Crimson in it. So that was an interesting experience. Nice and meaty. I love meaty blocks. Yeah, the brain. The brain wasn't too bad. I was pretty okay with it. I've been using a flail, where as long as you hold down the button, you spin it around yourself. It made the brain really easy, honestly. I have not had slime rain yet. That sounds cool. I've had. I did the brain, and then after the brain, I had forgotten about the eye, and the eye just showed up because it was tired of waiting for me. And then I got a goblin army. So I've handled all of that so far. I think next step is I go into the jungle, I think. I actually spent some time in the jungle already. I remember when the progression was, jungle was like mid to late game, and that's where you got your first grappling hook, and now you can make a grappling hook out of anything, which is really cool. I love that. Terraria really feels like they want people to enjoy the movement and to feel very mobile, and I appreciate that so much. Like I love that within the first hour you can have like double jump and dash boots and a grappling hook. Like that is absolutely the way a game like that should be. And then it just goes crazier from there. Had fun once, it was awful. Yeah, never again, Manic. Never again. Just swear it off forever and always. Start watching a series of videos where two friends have to do a competitive challenge in 7 days. And this one, they have to go through an endgame building and find 15 numbers in a chest. They can only die 10 times. PvP is toggled off. Ben chaotic as all hell. That sounds like a neat concept. That sounds pretty cool. And I didn't realize 7 Days to Die was the kind of game where you could build those kinds of challenges out of it. That makes it sound a lot neater. Sometimes I wonder if I should give one of these like multiplayer centric survival games a try, because I mean they're really popular. Some of them do look like fun. I was debating it with what was that vampire one? V Rising? Was that what it was called? I actually considered picking that one up and seeing what all the fuss was about. I tend to have a really hard time sticking with multiplayer based games, and with a few notable exceptions. Although my notable exceptions were like more than half a decade ago, so. No, let's spook. What's up, Australian? 7 Days is probably the jankiest of all of them I've seen, but that makes it charming. You miss anything? Not yet, Shadows. I am purposefully stretching out the preamble tonight to make sure that everybody who wants to hear about this gets in. So you're just in time. We still got some time to go. I'm in no rush tonight. It's not gonna take it doesn't have to take a whole long time to explain this whole thing, but I'm going to make it take a long time. Because I very much prefer doing it that way. I prefer belaboring every point and discussing every little nuance with y'all. Also, I'm sure y'all are gonna have a lot of comments and questions about where this ended up. So, oh, your popcorn is done? Okay, great. We can finally get started. Increasingly difficult hordes every 7 days makes the game go from kinda tense to really tense to holy shit. That's neat. I was realizing he's trying to stretch 20 minutes into 3 hours. I would probably be more nervous about that if it hadn't taken me 3 full hours just to tell y'all about my Japan trip. If I hadn't actually managed to fill an entire evening just talking about a 2-week trip to Japan, I would probably be more concerned. Or the night where we spent hours just... Y'all, the last GP Talks stream was me saying I'm going to focus on weird old game. And that somehow lasted like 2.5 hours. So no. We'll be... If anything, we're gonna run out of time tonight. I'm not worried. Prefer to make you stay awake until you start to hallucinate, you mean? I mean, let's be real. That sounds like a lot more fun, doesn't it? Decide on a Halloween game for yourself, finally. Might play some of the Legacy of Kains. Nice. Very, very nice. Worst comes to worst, we can play Doom 1 on I'm Too Young to Die as we talk spoops. Easy peasy. I mean, shit, I would just start playing Terraria again. I do actually have a backup plan for tonight. If y'all recall, I have 6 games. The last 6 games of Season 1 on the Playdate. So if we do run out of yammering regarding Spooktober, I can go ahead and knock those 6 out, and we'll be done with this, our adorable little friend, at least for the time being. I have the Doom Wad that's a movie theater that plays the entire Morbius movie, just saying. Well, we can't get dinged for that, right? Because we're not actually watching Morbius, we're playing Doom. Like, that's fair, right? That's the letter of the law. News about that survey Crystal Dynamics is having finally decided it for you. Oh, yeah, they seem to be kind of debating doing something with Legacy of Kain now. Did Legacy of Kain do the fucking survey? Go ahead and link it. Fury Fighter, go ahead and throw the link in the chat. For anyone who wants to, who isn't Dominic. Drunken Otis cranks it on stream with his adorable little friend. Yep. One of my favorite kinds of streams. I saw a survey and I answered no. There you go. Alright. So yeah. Legacy of Kain survey. Enjoy. Around the board. Thank you. Wow, damn. Thank you so much for subscribing for 21 months, dude. I really appreciate that. You've never played a Legacy of Kain? Were you around when we did Blood Omen, Dom? Because Blood Omen was a good time. Blood Omen was a neat game. And I know more about the Soul Reaver games than I do about Blood Omen. So I'm actually looking forward to the Soul Reaver games. In fact, I probably would have done Soul Reaver already if the Steam version of Soul Reaver 1 wasn't in this weird limbo. Because I have that, and I'm kind of afraid to play it. I have Soul Reaver 2 on PlayStation, even. I played, like, I honestly couldn't tell you how much of that game I played. I played a lot of it, but I never beat it. Candy of Legs. Fury is one of your favorite series. Very not to scratch with actually playing games, though, so that's no surprise. It's all about collecting now. It's good to have games. Playing them, I don't know. Your mileage may vary. Voiceover work is 100% worth the investment in time. I mean, worth it just for the Victus. To be fair, the old janky as fuck to a certain degree as a story, but voice work or what people like. Yeah, Blood Omen was really cool. Blood Omen was, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit of a chore to get through. There were definitely some rough parts in that. Some frustrating bits. Some aimless wandering, but it all came together. And yeah, it's a really neat story. It's really, really cool what they do with those games. So yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to Soul Reaver eventually. The loading screens are definitely a choice. Definitely a choice, ain't they? So that's your Spooktober game. What are any of y'all gonna be playing any spoopy games yourselves for Spooktober? Have y'all been sitting on any promising horror games, or gonna return to something that you're particularly fond of? Really want a Blood Omen remaster with as much love as the Spyro Trilogy remaster makes? That would be cool. That would be, I mean, honestly, I feel like doing anything with the Legacy of Kain series at this point would be something. No spook. If I crack open my annual playthrough of Soma. I did not know you played through Soma every year. That's really cool. Yomawari probably. Well, I mean, the new one's coming out. That's pretty exciting. Majora's Mask. I really like Final Station. I'll only play cute things. Yomawari! There you go, Satellite. Play you some Yomawari. It'll be great. We were checking out Stubbs the Zombie from that monthly a while back. Oh, I remember actually playing the original Stubbs the Zombie. It was one of the first games that I got on Steam. Back when they started bundling together games on Steam and selling them at a discount. Like, I bought a lot of those early compilations, and I ended up with Stubbs the Zombie somehow. And it was janky as fuck, so if I ever wanted to go back to that game, it would definitely have to be the remaster. Finally tried that Resident Evil game I've heard a couple of people talk about. Tried to start Prey again, couldn't do it. Just you weren't feeling it, Alabor? I do love Prey. I still say Prey is my favorite immersive sim of all time. Vampire Survivors going to full release on 10/20. Yes, I've been wanting to play Vampire Survivors, and I've specifically been holding back because of that. Yeah, sometimes you're just not in the mood for something like that. Like, I seem to have already drifted away from the CRPGs that I was playing. I don't know if I'm going to go back to Tyranny. I don't know if I'm going to go back to Wasteland 2 after that one night of trying it. As quickly as that mood came upon me, it may have left just as fast. Or it might be something that I need to stream. Maybe what I really need is to stream a CRPG and get chat yelling at me to name characters stupid things and make stupid decisions. October 1st, Shatora and I are gonna play RE Remake through 3. Cool. Make you watch the Monster High movies. Oh boy. You mean to beat Lone Survivor, maybe Yuppie Psycho 2? Yuppie Psycho, definitely. You should definitely get back to that one. Lone Survivor, I love the atmosphere in Lone Survivor, but the gameplay in that one's pretty lacking, if you ask me. Modern Legacy of Kain, I'd probably prefer remakes of a few of them before a new one. I would agree with that. I would be nervous about them being able to follow up the existing games. And also, you know, with the older games not being all that accessible anymore, it might be harder for people to get into a new installment with as story heavy as they are. Soma's legit one of my favorite stories. We really are the same person, aren't we, Eva? Just one of us is the evil version of the other. Watch Rose Red at some point. Tradition for the season? 9. Trying to forget a little bit more of your playthrough Prey before I do one myself. I mean, you can always, like... You can always go the opposite direction, because when I did Prey, I did only Typhon powers, right? You could go only human powers. Too many Steam games and very little motivation. Yeah, I definitely get like that around the war. I would say more often than not, when I'm sitting around in the evening, or if my family's out and I got some time, I kind of languish around, like, oh, what should I start? What should I invest my time in? Am I ready to play this? Am I gonna have the attention span for this? And it feels harder and harder to really invest in a game, which is why I'm so thankful for these streams, because it's investment by default. Once I start playing something for y'all, it's not just me that's invested. You know, it's a couple dozen people. So. Should play Nightmare Reaper sometime during. I should just play Nightmare Reaper in general. Games are a sin. Start a new character in Guild Wars 2. Lots of hefty updates. You get them out at level 10 for free. Wow, that's cool. Really? Modern want to fuck with the poll and ask for a MOBA visual novel brawler. If they could pull that off, that would be legendary. Haven't broken 1,000 yet, but I'm getting there. I'm over 2,000, honestly. And it doesn't help. I love Soma so much, except for the parts of the monsters which bored you. They did. There was a very popular mod that removed the monsters from Soma, and then the developers heard that. They were like, all right, cool. And they built the mode into the game that just takes out all the threats. So you can just appreciate the story and the puzzles. And I dare say that game is just as effective. The monsters, I appreciate the monsters. I like the tension that the monsters provides, but I don't think they're necessary to Soma. Something I want to try to get through a bit more of my Steam games once a week. Play whatever Steam tells me to play next. That's a good idea. Steam's library recommendations are actually pretty decent. Steam has been trying to get me to play Shadowrun Dragonfall forever, and I am such a dick and not listening to it. So. No, someone's playing Guild Wars 2 and it's making me want to again, but no, so many other things to do. Yeah. Just could not with the monsters in Soma. And it's personal preference, really. I get really tweaked out by getting chased in game. Even these low-budget, garbage indie horror games, when we play them, I still get freaked out just by being chased by things. So the monsters in Soma were actually very effective for me. So, and I also didn't have a whole lot of trouble getting past them either. So it was a good balance. It was a good balance. Certainly, if the monsters keep killing you over and over and over again, and it, like, the horror will bleed away really quick and be replaced with frustration, and nobody wants that. So I guess Soma just hit a really sweet spot for me. Monsters are more like set pieces in Soma than anything else. Yeah, definitely. Spoopy's House of Jump Scares freak you out? Yes. Are you kidding me? Yes. That game scared the fuck out of me. Soma D's nuts. Play Granny 2? No. There you go. Well, it sounds like y'all got some pretty neat plans for Spooktober. Part of Soma I played was at 3 a.m. with the lights off and sound canceling headphones. Pretty fun. Yeah. There are parts of Soma that will stick with me forever. Not just the story, but like, I think it's Theta Lab. Theta Lab is like one of the most traumatic gaming experiences I've ever had. I think Theta Lab specifically might be why I haven't replayed that game since I played it. It was so stressful. Deathmark's game 2 of mine decided. To read and watch horror stuff all night long, but games just get me? Yeah, I understand. Only change I want is the ability to wake up our previous model and give them the choice to get out of that building. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I know what you mean. I guess I don't know. I guess the developers just didn't want to open up that line in the story, I suppose. They could have done something really interesting with it, and I guess they just chose not to. Okay. I love the story in Soma, but there's a huge caveat. I think the B plot in Soma is really underdeveloped, which kind of leads me to overlook some of the stuff like that, like not offering that particular choice, because it seems like it seems like parts of Soma just didn't get fully cooked. Everything with the WoW in Soma, I think, is kind of underwhelming. I was really interested to see where that goes, and it kind of doesn't go anywhere. I had a lot of theories about how that was going to tie into the main plot, and then it just kind of doesn't. So, strangely enough, because of that, I'm a little more forgiving of the faults in Soma's storytelling, because that's... I feel like something must have happened during development where they just weren't able to pull it all together in time. Favorite part of Spooky is how they made those stupid little cardboard cutout things here. I mean, that is the very essence of the brilliance of Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. It's a perfect example of why that game works so well. They know exactly how to use like repetition and pattern recognition to actually scare you with something. Catch up on the Death Marks channel. I've been sleeping a lot. Oh yeah, because you had that terrible food poisoning, yeah. One part of Soma where you're swimming and there's a monster in the water, and that will always terrify. Yeah, that part is really, really scary. So happy you added the terrorize button. I mean, that's a permanent fixture at least through Spooktober, and that will be around anytime we're playing a spoopy game. But yeah, people seem to enjoy that one a lot. Clear things on my end. If I get the 500 death marks, is spinning our meme of Claire B be the PS1 version? Is that even viable? So not remake. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. If you want Claire B, it needs to be the remake version. Or if you insist on the PS1 version, we need to replay Leon A. Or we need to do Claire A. And then I can truly be done with the game. I did Leon A in the remake, I did do Claire A in the PS1 version. There's nothing left to see. It's totally done. It's 100%. So that's one option, certainly. Yeah, I don't have an N64 yet. That will be rectified eventually. I think Resident Evil 2 Remake does cloud save, so it should be around. So. Actually gave yourself a little content spoiler for the deep underwater section because I can't hail certain deep sea creatures, and you're glad you... There is an amazing gotcha in Soma in the deep water section that is fucking hilarious to me, and the best part about it is I knew about it before I played through that section, but then when I was playing through that section, it was so stressful and so harrowing, I forgot about it, and it got me. And that just made it so much funnier. N64 port of RE2 is a fucking marvel of that age of tech. Pretty fucked up when you played Soma. I should really go back. Should probably also restart. Yeah. Definitely. Alright, chat. I gotta say, I think it might be time to get down to business. What do you think? Are y'all ready? Are y'all settled? Do you have your popcorns and your ice creams and your warm, comfy blanket or your fan on or something? Are you ready for this? Are you ready to discuss Spooktober? To defeat the Huns! Business! Get on with it. We can defeat the Huns? Probably not tonight. That seems a bit involved, but... Have water in the Shatora. Am good. Nice. Don't think you're ready for this jelly. I'm not ready for the rejection. Aww. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot to talk about, because as a reminder, y'all put up... Okay. Y'all actually put up something like 70, 80 games as nominations, and I only put 51 of them on the vote. Only. I did, and 50 of them were yours. I did have to make some judgment calls. Some stuff didn't fit the criteria. Some stuff would have been too difficult to do for whatever reason. Ooh, gin and apple juice, nice. A little sad. I want to. You did what now? Even when I got some Chinese chicken, I usually enjoy a lot. It was only so. Oh my God, Manic! I think you actually made it worse by making me go back up and look at it. Jericho got 1 vote, mine, and all's right with the world. Actually, oh, we're gonna talk about that. Oh, there's so much. Is 2.5 hours even gonna be enough time to talk about this? There's so much to talk about this. I mean, when you have 51 games to vote on, and dozens of people vote on them, you're gonna get some really interesting results. I will tell you, out of 51 games, no games got 0 votes. Somebody voted for everything. And on top of that, only 1 game got a single vote. Only 1. So take solace in the fact that if you nominated something and made it on the vote, you were not the only person that voted for that. What was the game? Which one? Jericho, I hope? I don't think y'all will guess. Which game do you think only got 1 vote? I don't think y'all will guess this one. I will be very, very surprised if you guess this one. It wasn't SMT. It was not Nightmare Creatures. You think I remember what was on that poll? It was not Estatica. It was not Monster Bass. I'll tell you. I'll just drop it. It was not Veil of Darkness. It was Blood Rain. Blood Rain was the only game that got a single vote. Who voted for Blood Rain? I want names. I love that so much. I didn't even vote for it, and it was my suggestion. I need to know so I can give them a custom title on the Discord. If you are here, I didn't request emails or any kind of tracking when y'all were voting. I cannot tell you. I cannot divulge this information because I don't have it. But if the culprit, if the villain who cast the single vote for Blood Rain wants to cop to it in chat, our Dominic will honor you in his special way. So, real quick, I would love to actually go through all 51 games and actually talk about what they are for those of you that are unfamiliar, but there's no way we can do that. I barely get through like 9 games on wheel nights, so. I do want to run through and read off the names of all the games that were on the vote, just to kind of refresh your memory, just so you have some idea what was up against what. Not impossible, I voted for it, but I don't think I did. So, on the vote, we had The Legacy, Realm of Terror, Waxworks, Clive Barker's Undying, Personal Nightmare, Mystery of the Druids, Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth, The Lurking Horror, Ecstatica, The 6 Days a Stranger Text Adventures. They were like a little like prequel connective thing between Trilby's Notes and 6 Days. 6 Days of Sacrifice was the name of that game. Darkseid 2, not Darkseid 1, just Darkseid 2. The Dark Eye, Nocturne, Monster Bass, Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, Nosferatu, not the first-person shooter, but the Super Nintendo one. Devil's Crush, Pedelka, Baroque, Clock Tower, the original Super Nintendo one. Countdown Vampires, which is just a fucking hilarious name to me. It's like Dracula 2000. Shin Megami Tensei, Echo Knight 2, Screaming Mad George's Paranoia Escape. That one was a little bit tricky to track down. Heard that chuckle at Mystery of the Druids. Splatterhouse, Parasite Eve, Tecmo's Deception, Overblood, Shadow Tower, Castlevania Legacy of Darkness, which is the second Castlevania on the N64, Martian Gothic, Nightmare Creatures 2, D, don't ask me who D is a PS1 game, Cold Fear, Shadow Man, Haunting Ground, Rule of Rose, Shadow Hearts, Condemned Criminal Origins, Blood, the original Build Engine FPS, Blood Rain, which we've just talked about, Anchorhead, Fear, the first-person shooter with bullet time and Scary Child, Penumbra Black Plague, and y'all know how that turned out, System Shock 1, Doom 3, Veil of Darkness, The Seventh Guest, Scratches, Clive Barker's Jericho, and Medieval. So those were your 51 options that y'all just spent like a week and a half going through. What about Dracula 3000? So much hype for Countdown Vampires at the time. Seriously? Really? Dracula 2000 was a movie. I wish I could give that statement the right emphasis. Paranoia Escape is bizarre as fuck, but kind of rad. D's CD-ROMs. Finding out what D is part of the mystery. Kadelka is a choice. Could say D's nuts. Jericho did in fact get more than one vote. Suck it honest. Was number 5 and 4. Anchorhead's an interesting nomination. Have we ever done text event? We have. We have that depressed cat, and they tend to be fun if we keep them to like a night, 1 or 2 nights. I'm definitely not against them. I feel like it's never winning, but I was hoping Doom 3 could get a feature because it's more of a horror game than it gets credit for. The original, not the BFG version. I missed the first part. Can you tell us the list again? Yeah, first open sorcery was amazing. And that one Valentine's where we did Valentine's text adventures was really, really fun. That was not, oh my god, no. I'm not going to spoil the vote like that. That was not in the order of votes. No, that was the order that they were that was the order in which they were submitted. What Splatterhouse? Should be the original, I think. The very first one. I assume so. If it was the remake, oh, you didn't specify. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that. Actually, I did. I streamed Mystalion. I streamed Open Sorcery to completion twice, didn't I? I did it once a long time ago, and then didn't I do it again right before C++ came out? And then I started streaming C++, and I like it, but it didn't end up being a very good stream game. Hoping SMT got good placement. Concerned a few of my noms were too obscure. Well, I mean, let's get into it, chat. Let's do it. Let's do the damn thing. Let us talk about what we are going to be playing for Spooktober. So, the way I set this up, the way I have done this, is we're actually going to start at the top. We are going to start at the tippy top, and we're going to work our way down. Because as we work our way down, more and more judgment calls had to be made. Whether or not things were actually going to make the list or not. Because, as a reminder, I am going to be streaming 26 nights in October. And one of those is a community night, which we are also going to talk about tonight. So 25 streams for the stuff that y'all nominated and voted on. Comes to about 75 hours of gaming. Depending on what made the list, that might be, you know, a bunch of games or only a few. So let's talk about what we are actually going to be doing. So, and we are starting with the top pick, the number one. What do y'all think this is? I want to know what you think won. If SMT won, it'll only be that. Jericho. Oh, goody made graphics. Eva, don't you know graphic design is my passion? Jericho, Eternal Darkness, Monster Bass, Clock Tower, Eternal Darkness, Erectile Dysfunction. Same. Interesting. Guess Eternal Darkness? I voted for both Clive Barker games. I thought this one was a surprise. I was not expecting this one. Maybe some of you all were, because it turns out, if it's Kodos, I quit. It turns out the number one game is, in fact, Clock Tower. 55% of respondents voted for this. It was the only game out of everything to get an actual majority. Which isn't to say that the other games didn't get a lot of votes, but just the way it shook out with this many options and this many people voting. Fuck it, Psychic, baby! Yeah. So yes, this had to go on the list, obviously. And this, to me, is kind of like the perfect thing. This is exactly what I was looking for Spooktober. It's old, it's definitely weird, and it's not huge. Supposedly, I think this may be doable in one night. Although I know this game can be a little weird and a little frustrating, so I think probably what's gonna happen is I'll flail around in it for a bit before going to a walkthrough. But yeah, I am looking forward to this one, because I don't know much about the Clock Tower series, really, so. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. You'll see in the schedule. I have some strategic buffers here and there. I've got a plan. Which is this? SNES. I put the system that all of these are going to be for with the titles. So, Party City sells giant plastic scissors. So. All right. So that's number one. But what then, chat? What then would be number two? What do you think came in second? I'm not going to torture you over second place, because I think a couple of you probably called this. If it didn't make first place, it had to make second place, right? Second place, with 48% of the vote, almost a majority, is Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. So, I have agreed to play this one. I do not have a GameCube. I do not have the physical version of this game. But my understanding is it can be emulated just fine. So. Also, this is... I feel like maybe I'm the only person on Earth who doesn't actually know anything about this game. Like, I don't even know what the plot is. I have no idea who the hell this lady is. I don't know what you're doing. It looks like Alone in the Dark to me. So, yeah, I guess we'll find out together. Cause yeah, I've never played a second of it. I've never watched a second of a playthrough. I know nothing about this game. So, yeah, I think we're all in for a treat. Y'all seem pretty excited about this one. Clock Tower is kind of inspired by Phenomena and features knockoff Jennifer Connelly. Well, I love Jennifer Connelly, so obviously I'm going to love this game. Know hardly anything about any of these games. This will be neat. Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to the stuff that I'm unfamiliar with this month, which is honestly most of it. And Clock Tower also based on Suspiria a bit. That's what I've heard. Yeah, that's what I've heard. All right, so number one, Clock Tower. Number two, Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Can you figure out what the third place game? Now that those two, now that the big guns are out of the way, what came in third? Ah, no. Jericho. Manic. I will give you a break after this, Dominic. I will give you a break after this, because I know it's going to get less and less and less obvious. This one also surprised me. And actually, if I remember correctly, this one was actually in the lead. This one was actually in the lead for like most of the voting period until Clock Tower passed it, and then it was neck and neck with Eternal Darkness, and then like the last day or two, Eternal Darkness pulled ahead. Penumbra Black Frog Fractions was not on the list. No, nobody snuck it in. Let's go Mystery of the Druids, Castlevania, Martian Gothic, Kudelka. Wow, nobody guessed this one. This ought to be interesting. Third place is Parasite Eve. 45% of the vote. This was one vote behind Eternal Darkness. And this is one that I personally really wanted to do because I have played this game before, but only part of it. It was back in college. I never finished it. I do like it. So yeah. Not into this one, Manic? And never not be up for people saying mitochondria more than is really required. Like Parasite Eve 2, but that's an unpopular opinion. It is pretty body horror, isn't it? Yeah, I understand that. I definitely understand. I played this back in college, and I still remember some of the cutscenes being like, holy shit. This game is convoluted like Star Wars novels. Shouldn't take too long either. Yeah, from my understanding, it's not too huge. So. But yes, this one I was very pleased to see this one happen. I am looking forward to this, and lucky us that would then open us up to doing the sequels in the future, like Parasite Eve 2 and you know the other one. I ran out of beer, by the way. Read the Parasite Eve novel kind of recently. Very boring with some very gross sex stuff. The game is way better. I'm not saying it. Someone in chat will get mad and start breaking things. Sad to see no torture games in the top 3, I'll admit. Oh, but we're only 3 games in, Fury. We are only 3 games. Did they make a movie? Wait, wasn't it like a CG movie or something? Lifeline is not on the list, no. 2 movies. Oh, Jesus, okay. Well, let's get on with it then, because people are obviously getting antsy about what might be further down the list, so. 4th place. 4th place is another surprise to me. Just because this one is not exactly obscure, but I also didn't expect people to be as interested in this one as they were. This one being The Seventh Guest. Oh God, please don't start talking about the Ring books. Please don't talk about the Ring books. You're gonna get me on like an hour-and-a-half long tangent. Because I've read Ring and Spiral and Loop and oh my god. Oh my god. Those of you that have been around for a couple of years know this. Takes you back? Yeah. I remember seeing this on the bargain shelves in like Babbage's and stuff when I was getting to PC gaming because his time had already passed. Entire stream staring at a chessboard, swearing to yourself. Are they worth reading? Ring, definitely, 100%. Ring is really, really interesting. The sort of like clinical investigative approach they take to a haunting, and a really bizarre haunting at that. Spiral leans even more into it being like a police procedural because it's an actual investigator following up on the events of the first novel. It has a weird ending though. It has a really, really weird ending. Do not read Loop. If you are going to read the Ring novels, read Ring and read Spiral and then stop. Loop. Loop has the most asinine twist imaginable. It's so bad. Save yourself the trouble, play Ring, Terror's Realm instead. Watch The Matrix instead. This will be a new experience for a lot of people, apparently. They did release an anniversary edition of this game a couple years ago. This is another game, I had it. I played a little bit of it, but I've never gotten very far in it. So this is another one I have a vested interest in actually streaming and finishing it. Yeah, there's like a 25th anniversary edition of that's what we're gonna play, because that's the one that's available on all the storefronts now. It's like $10, I think. So, yeah. What's up, Vexthorn? Oh, the Chizo Mythos? Yeah, Vexthorn, I hope you were around when we streamed all those. We streamed all 4 of those games and had a really good time doing it. They were quite solid. Oh, no, you missed it. Well, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube if you want to check it out. They're all in there by name, because I think we spent 1 night on each. There's 3 more books after Loop. Oh, God. Maybe... You know, I'm in this deep. I already had the series ruined for me. Maybe I should just fucking read them and see how much dumber it gets. See if they do anything. You know, it would actually be interesting to see if they did anything else, anything more creative with their idiot plot twist, or if they somehow buried it, like even the author thought it was too stupid and decided to back off of it. S is very, very dumb. Okay, yeah, I might have to do this, actually. All right, so for those of you just coming in, the top 4 for our Spooktober Spooktacular is Clock Tower on the SNES, Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem on the GameCube, Parasite Eve on PS1, and The Seventh Guest on PC. So that's the top 4. After this, we start getting into ties. And this is also where we have to start making judgment calls, so you know. So, tied for 5th. We have 2 games. We have 2 games that were tied for 5th, right behind Seventh Guest. The first of these, I'm sure plenty of you recognize this, is the original System Shock. System Shock 1. Now, before you get too excited, I did say this is where I had to start making judgment calls, right? And at this point, between Eternal Darkness and Parasite Eve, we've got 2 fairly long games that take up, I think, together kind of half of the month. And System Shock, unfortunately, is not a very short game by my reckoning. So this one we're gonna skip for now. I do recognize that this got way up in the vote. And having streamed System Shock 2, what, a year and a half ago? I do want to get around to this, but it's not gonna be during Spooktober. We will come back to this another. It's aged poorly. I think that's one of the reasons it ended up on here. I think this was meant to be a torment game. Don't even think it was even a full year. It was last fall, wasn't it? Maybe not. Yeah, wasn't it like November or something? System Shock was overrated. So clunky to control. Well, obviously a bunch of you wanted to see me struggle with this, so we will give it a try. But at a time when we don't have such a rigid schedule to work within. So they are working on a System Shock remake. I would like to wait for that, but I don't think that was the point of putting it on the vote. So default UI. I mean, yeah, just look at this UI. It's incredible. It's fucking breathtaking how fucked up it is. So there's that. So Obviously, this is not what is coming in for 5th place. What is, and I can only imagine the cheers that this is going to elicit from some of you, the more degenerate of you. Actual 5th place goes to... It was so tempting. It was so tempting to put the box art on there as this, but look at this. That's right, chat. We're playing Mystery of the Druids for Spooktober. Whatever the hell this is. Whatever the hell is going on here. It's a Halloween miracle. Why? Why? Vexed are dropping to their knees and cursing God. Because this is what happens when you offer democracy to the public. This right here is what democracy has wrought. Yeah, if you haven't seen the box art, Google Mystery of the Druids. Just do it. This is why democracy doesn't work. I realized we missed a real opportunity to make otters play Limbo the Lost. You did, didn't you? Oh, in America, this is what we deserve. Oh man. I honestly thought more people would be pissed off that I'm dropping System Shock in favor of Mystery of the Druids, but it seems like you're all on board. It's a whole $1.19 on GOG right now. I already got it. I was prepared for this inevitability. I know you, chat. I know what you are like. I knew this was gonna be on. I didn't call much about this vote, but I fucking called this. I knew this was gonna happen. Limbo the Lost count as horror? I mean, it's terrible and stupid and plagiarized? Sure. I would not have vetoed it. I would have left it on there. It looks just like Gabriel Knight 3. As much horror as 7th Guest is. Oh, did you do the, yeah, there he is. There's our boy. There's our boy. All right. Let me throw him into the folder, and then I will get that set up later. Look at it. Look at it. System Shock should be left as a fond memory, not revisited. Fond. Oh, Fond doing a lot of work there. All right, chat. So that's 5th. That's 5th sorted, right? So after that, we have a 3-way tie. And this one I found really, really funny. This was another one that it was close between a lot of games until the final days of voting. I was actually surprised this time. There was, unlike most of our votes, where like the vast majority of votes come in the first like day or two, and then it really peters off after that. This one saw a pretty steady amount of voting the whole way through. And I mean, I started working on the schedule, and I started working on this whole thing that I'm doing right now at the beginning of this week, and I had to make a bunch of adjustments because votes kept coming in and like edging stuff up and down. So originally I think this was like an 8-way tie, and then these 3 pulled ahead of everything else, which when you see them, I think you'll probably understand. They somebody who voted late has a type, okay? And that type includes Echo Knight 2, which is something that I've wanted to play anyway, ever since we played Echo Knight 1, like, what, last year? And had a really good time. with that. But what's tied with Echo Knight 2? Well, we've got Tecmo's Deception, another PS1 third-person spooky-ish thing. And I love this screenshot. I'm a big fucking fan of this screenshot. Shadow Tower. So yeah, whoever came in and separated these out from the pack really, really had it tight. Definitely. So. Now, here again, chat. Here again. We have a three-way tie between three games that are not particularly short. Alright, so obviously a cut had to be made. What made the cut? You have chin scratcher. Isn't that great? It looks like he's gonna nom on it. It looks like he's gonna nom 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 nom. Shadow Tower is a From Software game. Isn't Echo Knight also? Anyway, of these three selections, if you cut Shadow Tower, you get cut. Come at me, motherfucker. Of these three, the only one we're gonna be playing is Echo Knight 2. There's a reason for this. I do have reasons for this. Deception. Deception, of all the games you're gonna see tonight that didn't make the cut, Deception is the one I'm the saddest about. I tried really hard to find a way to squeeze Deception in. But it has two problems. One is it's just too long. The other one, in doing some research on this, Deception apparently has a lot of RNG in it. So the amount of time it takes you to get through it can vary pretty wildly. Which is not something I want to try and contend with while fitting all of these games into Spooktober. If we had an extra day, we do a look at Deception at least. Well, okay, Deception, I want to play it at some point. It's just not going to be through Spooktober. So don't consider this being me dropping Deception entirely. We will circle back around to this. It's just not going to be this month. Is all. Aren't all PS1 games a horror game by virtue of PS1 graphics? That's fair. Echo Knight 2 is a puzzle where you listen to some music after recreating on a piano. My number one most hated type of puzzle. Yeah, I don't like those either. Didn't Echo Knight 1 have something like that? Maybe I'm just thinking of the casino, because the casino was so stupid. It's the very definition of weird old... Yeah, I can't pass this up. I cannot pass up Deception entirely. It's just not getting done during October. The amount of time it takes now, I want you to imagine that time it took back in the day. We had just one memory card and one save took up the memory card. Yeah. Yeah. I do remember some of that. I remember only having one VMU for my Dreamcast. And I actually went out and bought a 4x capacity third-party VMU. Because that thing filled up like that. And the only things I kept on the proper VMU were the games that wouldn't play without it. And the ones that had like little mini games on it, like Skies of Arcadia. Echo Knight 2 does not have any casinos, so yeah, I'm very excited about that. Deception on how long to beat? 11 hours, yeah. So it would have been roughly like 4 streams, which is, I mean, when you've got 25 to work with, is a significant chunk, especially when you're down. So this is 6th place technically. Oh, you still have yours, Manic? Nice. And then Shadow Tower. Shadow Tower is a real Kingsfield-looking game, all right? And I'm already committing to a survey of the Kingsfield series. I'm just gonna throw Shadow Tower on there, okay? Like we're definitely gonna play Shadow Tower again, just not during October. If anything, it might be a little too close to us playing through Kingsfield. I might not have cut it if we hadn't just done Kingsfield. So, wonder how much they're worth now. The VMUs, probably not that much, honestly. Shadow Tower is a bonkers Kingsfield game, so I'm looking forward to it when we do get around to it. But yeah. Y'all made this difficult. I will say that, and you'll see on the next couple slides. This only got harder as I tried to figure out, because with big games up at the top of the list, real quick, I was just trying to fit things in the cracks between them, and you get something that lasts like 4 or 5 nights, and it's just not happening, unfortunately. So, I'm glad I was able to fit Echo Knight 2 in there, honestly. Skip voting on a lot of longer games myself. I mean, we did talk about this during the nomination process, during the voting process, but yeah, longer games. Of course, you know, I didn't really want to discourage anybody from voting, from nominating and voting on what you wanted to see, but I had to mention, I had to point out, the more big games we do, the fewer games we do overall. So that's how that happens. So hopefully the big games that did get on the list are the things that y'all really want to see. I mean, and if democracy works even a tiny bit, that is the way it turned out. So hopefully. All right, so past the 3-way tie for 6th place, what do we have? All right. Just upset you aren't playing Chizo Mythos this month. I mean, we did it over the last couple months. It was there. Where were you? So far, only one game I know nothing about on the list. Well, this might change things. So this, all right. Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves for disappointment, chat. This is the final tier of game. This is the final tier that I took games from. So this technically would have been the tie for 7th place. To our credit, to your credit, but I'm already disappointed. Oh, Vexthorn. I wish I could give you a hug. You're gonna need to look at the voting machines you used for this audition. I already shredded them. So everything that we are going to be playing got at least 30% of the vote. So that should be, comforting, at least, that, you know, close to a third voted for pretty much everything that we're doing. So we have a number of games that ended up on this tier. And they include Clive Barker's Undying, not Jericho, Undying, thank Christ. Monster Bass, which I was personally pulling for this one. After I found out that this was an actual thing, I was so excited about it. So thank you, chat. Thank you at least for getting it this high. Okay. Splatterhouse. So congratulations, man. Good job, buddy. Monster Bass is in fact an actual horror game. I will show you. I will take great pleasure in showing. Surprised Monster Bass didn't get higher. You guys did do your research. I would agree with that 2-hit. Kind of surprised me. All right, D. Now y'all really can ask who's D. Haunting Ground on PS2. And oh look, it's Penumbra Black Plague. Funny that. If you're thanking us, we failed you. So, again, I couldn't take all of these. We simply do not have enough time in the month to cram all of these in there. So, once again, I had to make cuts. Suffer like D did. I tried, I did. Haunting Ground being this low is unfortunate. Well, let's talk about that. Because from this list, what I originally decided to cut was Haunting Ground and Penumbra. However, because we started Spooktober 2 days early, Penumbra got a reprieve. So the only thing that gets dropped from this is Haunting Ground. And that one is also for reasons beyond just its length. I mean, it's too long. It won't fit after everything else that I just shoved in here. Haunting Ground, I've watched a playthrough of Haunting Ground. Haunting Ground has some really skeevy overtones. And yeah. So I was not super comfortable about doing this one to begin with. So it's probably just as well that it ended up here. Rule of Rose 2, yeah. So it is, I will say, I do think that it is a very legit horror game. It's a very well put together game, and it's got some very horrifying parts, but that horror leans in some directions that I'm not sure everybody would be comfortable with. On the bright side, we had a 6-way tie for this tier, and we're getting 5 of them. And, well, one we already did. Penumbra Black Plague was over the last 2 nights. But Clive Barker's Undying, Monster Bass, Splatterhouse, and D all made it on. Mainly because Monster Bass, Splatterhouse, and D are short. They are quite short. So that helped out a lot. Yeah, Manic, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to play Splatterhouse. I know there's a PC port of the original version, but we might need to talk about this a little bit more to figure out exactly which one I should do. I'm totally open to suggestions here, because I don't know anything about the Splatterhouse series. And I may come to those of you who nominated stuff to make sure I'm playing like the right version or I've got it all set up correctly. The PS1 games on this list, I've already got them all set up and tested. They're all ready and raring to go. Eternal Darkness, I still need to get that one going. I still need to make sure I can get that set up. I'm confident I can. I don't think that's going to cause a problem. So, but yeah, Splatterhouse, I need to figure out what exactly I'm doing there. So. Have to do the original. You think Haunting Ground is skeevy? You won't be playing. Oh no, yeah. We're not doing the modern Splatterhouse remake. We're doing the old 2D like beat 'em up thing. Is Black Plague a new game? No, Black Plague is an old game. Black Plague is one of the early games from Frictional Software, the folks who did Amnesia, The Dark Descent. Before they did Amnesia, they did 3 games in the Penumbra series. They did Penumbra Overture, they did Penumbra Black Plague, and they did Penumbra Requiem. We streamed Penumbra Overture months ago, I want to say back in the spring. And then we've already done Black Plague. I had some extra time over the last 2 nights, and I went ahead and did that. We even did a little bit of Requiem too, unfortunately. So yeah, if you're curious about that one, you can always, I mean, the VOD is still up here on the channel, so. Undying is a bit long. Undying is also one that I had a personal interest in doing because I have never gotten anywhere. I have never gotten anywhere in Undying. I've only played it a couple hours, so this one I was personally interested in doing. So has pacing issues, so it's really long at the start. Are we covering the rest? I'm curious where Nightmare Creatures is sitting. That's your biggest disappointment? So at the moment, this is... Let me get to the end of this, and then we'll talk about the rest of them, okay? I mean, Dolphins Wiki, a lot of those issues has been... Okay, cool. Because before we talk about the rest of the games that y'all voted on and get into the specifics and stuff, I have a surprise. I'm calling it the Dark Horse because nobody saw this coming, least of all me. We are going to play something that y'all didn't vote on. I have to assume that some of you might be a little pissed that I did this because I'm actually breaking my own rules for this one. But But there can't go 5 minutes without perverting. Hey, I went an hour and 21 minutes without perverting democracy this time, all right? All right? Okay. I had no intention of breaking my rules for Spooktober 2022. I was gonna go with everything that y'all voted on, the judgment calls we made, build a schedule of that. There was, seriously, I am 100% serious about this. There was one game on Earth that I would break my rule for, and that game is coming out. And so it's going onto the schedule, and I hope you all will forgive me. I hope you will enjoy this, but the surprise dark horse for 2022 is that Faith, the Unholy Trinity, is finally coming out on October 21st, and I have to play it. I love this game so much. I have been waiting for this game for years, and it is finally coming out. If you are not familiar with Faith, the developer, it's like super retro, like horror adventure. We're gonna go through all three Loader High because it's been too long since I played the other two. It's a trilogy, as it says right here. I don't know what I'm pointing at. Faith 1 came out a long time ago. Faith 1 came out several years ago. This is what Faith 1 is what the screenshot is from. And I played through it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then a year or two later, Faith 2 came out. And I streamed that and had a great time with that. And then the developer got signed by New Blood Interactive. The Dusk Amid Evil Gloomwood folks. I love them so much. And has been working on the third game in the series with the intent of releasing it on Steam as a trilogy. The Unholy Trinity, in fact. But this has been going on for years. And I'm not mad. I'm not even disappointed. I've been waiting very patiently for this, and it finally happened. They finally announced a release date. So we are going to play this on October 21st. That is what's going to happen. Dev help you with tech issues? That's awesome. That's super cool. This is basically like I got you a Nintendo for your birthday and a baby dinosaur. So yes, hopefully you all can forgive me for playing one modern game during Spooktober. In my defense, it looks retro as fuck, so. All right, so that's the dark horse settled. We got one more thing. To talk about. And that is community night. As y'all know, we do a community night every month where I let y'all, of your own accord, figure out what we're going to stream for one night and one night only. Y'all completed the challenge for this Spooktober community night, so I said we were going to do that. And I mentioned at the beginning that the schedule is basically 25 nights plus a community night, right? So, but as I was building the schedule, I was like, where am I going to put this? Because you'll see the schedule is the next page. The schedule is. I was having a lot of trouble figuring out where to put things and where they should go, and I'm like, what, how am I going to fit this in? And then I got an idea. I was inspired, chat, looking at the calendar, seeing how everything fell. So we're actually going to do something very, very special for community night this time. I am handing you all a lot of power for this one. So first of all, I have already scheduled community night. Community night this month is October 31st. I am giving you Halloween night itself to decide what we play. So right there, y'all are being given an immense amount of power. The Teletubby horror game. Don't shit your pants. Cult of the Oddish. There's more. There's more, though. Because we normally have somebody in the community. I get a volunteer to herd the cats, to get y'all to figure... They decide a theme. Y'all nominate and vote on games within that theme and stuff. Maybe you could just put me on your phone or something, like next to the candy bowl or something. Or show the trick-or-treaters what's going on. Show them the good time that we're having. So normally we have someone in the community manage community night. Not this time. I am going to run this one myself. And my plan this time is that I am going to let y'all nominate and vote on both the theme and the game. I'm going to let y'all decide this one in totality. And as long as it's a horror game, that's the only stipulation. It has to be a horror game. But the theme, it can be a modern game, it can be a AAA game, it can have just come out, it can be an indie game, psychological horror, panic horror, text adventure, dating sim, whatever. It can be whatever you want. I am leaving this one entirely up to y'all. We'll start a conversation on this regarding this in Discord probably tomorrow. Because I want to see where your heads are at. I am prepared because there are full 4 weeks in October before we get to Halloween itself. I'm fully prepared to have a week of nominating themes, a week of voting on themes, a week of nominating games, and a week of voting on games. Just absolute total democracy overload. However, if y'all can coalesce around a theme without needing to vote on it, we can jump straight to the game nominations. Or, I mean, if there's one game that y'all are like, we have to fucking do this, we can jump straight to that too. So, now here's the biggest part. Here is the most important part of this, and this is why you really need to be paying attention to this one. And you may or may not want to meme too hard with this. October 31st is, of course, the last night of Spooktober. It also happens to be a Monday. So, with that in mind, this is not going to be a normal community night, because whatever we play for this, I'm going to say we do a full playthrough of it. So this community night, you are not just selecting one night. You're picking an entire game to play. And I will continue it into November until we're done. And Solomon Grundy memed on a Monday. It is a school night after all. Yeah, my kids are pretty torn up about that. Hey, Tradon! What's going on? I'm here to say hi before I go cozy into bed. You're actually just in time to see the schedule. I just did all the pageantry and drama of announcing the Spooktober games one by one, with some unexpected surprises and twists and turns. But the next page is the final page. This is the whole schedule, so you can see everything all at once. So that's... We need to find something spooky enough to get Otis shook. That shouldn't be too hard, especially if you go for modern games. Shit like, I don't know, the Mortuary Assistant. I know some people were talking about that earlier. Pageant who won Miss Gold-Plated Gaming? D. Don't ask who they are. Alright, chat. And with that, let me present to you, in all of its glory, the full schedule for Spooktober 2022. Here it is, gang. Here is the plan. And like all good plans, this probably won't actually go to plan. I may have overestimated, I may have underestimated for some of these. There may be some shifting around. But this is the idea. This is what I'm shooting for. So tomorrow night, to start Spooktober proper, Why not start with the most popular game on the list? We'll go ahead and do Clock Tower tomorrow night. Mortuary Assistant would be cool. Or make you solo Phasmophobia on the hardest mode. Well, Manic, I was thinking about that. I can use Sunday. I can actually use Sunday. Which Clock Tower? SNES. The original SNES one. Yes, Faith. Faith is actually coming out on October 21st, and we're going to play it. So yes, we'll start Clock Tower tomorrow night. We'll see how that goes. On Monday, we'll go ahead and start the 7th Guest. 7th Guest, I'm estimating 2 nights for that. I think that's about right. I don't think it's any longer than that. And then from Wednesday through the rest of the week, Undying. I think we can do Undying in 4 nights. Maybe. 6 hours just for the microscope puzzle. I momentarily got 7th Guest confused as 7th Saga. Yeah, 7th Saga is an entirely different kind of horror. Actually sleeping tonight. I hope you have a good, more exposition audit. Thank you, Mistralian. Have a good one. Thanks for coming out. Well, okay, we are going to be playing the 25th anniversary re-release of the 7th Guest. I think they fixed some of the puzzles in it. So I will do a little bit of research before we get into it. But I mean, we've always, you know, there's always walkthroughs. The microscope puzzle is infamous, and I'm 99% sure they fixed it for modern systems. So, been a long time since I thought about the 7th Guest. Yeah. The microscope puzzle was infamous back. I remember as a kid, one of my favorite things to do when we would go to the bookstore, I would go all the way in the back where they had the game guides, and there was a game guide for the 7th Guest, and I remember flipping through that, and I actually remember reading about the microscope puzzle, and they were like, it's basically a toss-up. Like, good fucking luck. The 7th Guest is like a point. Yes, it's a point-and-click adventure. It's Mistlight. It's a first-person FMV puzzle game. In the back with the Forbidden Tomes. There was a puzzle in the 7th Guest where you look through a microscope and you play like Reversi with bacteria. And there was something. Someone in chat is smarter than me and can explain exactly how it works. But the AI would basically like process as many moves as it could ahead of you based on the CPU power available. And so as computers became, like, it was already really hard to begin with, but as computers became more advanced, the AI basically got smarter at doing the puzzle. So after just like 1 or 2 new generations of computers, it was basically impossible to beat. Yeah, that was the thing. It would already beat your ass on a 386. And then when you upgraded to a 486 or, God forbid, a Pentium, like, it was like playing Deep Blue. That's my understanding of it anyway. Hopefully that's accurate. But yeah, they basically took a very, very hard puzzle and tied it directly to your CPU power without really planning ahead for the future. So yeah. All right. So yeah, week 1, 7th Guest and Undying. Week 2, starting on Monday the 10th, Eternal Darkness. Eternal Darkness should be pretty much the entire week. It seems like a pretty long game, pretty chunky game. I don't think it'll take the entire week, which means on Saturday I have packaged D and Monster Bass together. D, my understanding is that game's only like 2 hours or something. It's not going to take a full evening. And Monster Bass honestly doesn't strike me as the kind of game that's really going to call for a full playthrough. And even if it does, it's going to be really short. So we will experience it thusly. I mean, they literally invented Deep Blue for this game. It's certainly not as complicated as chess, but they did have something of like a supercomputer thing going there. My first programming job, I actually met a programmer who used empty for loops to implement delays. Oh my god. I don't know a whole lot about programming, but I know enough about that. If you beat D, it's 2 hours because it has a literal time limit. Well, there you go. And 2 hours it is. I held off on Majora's Mask and Nom because I can't see us not full playing that down the line. Well, first of all, I wouldn't have accepted it because I'm not gonna count a Zelda game as a horror game. I know that one is dark, but I still wouldn't have taken that on. Beyond that, way too long for Spooktober. I mean, an N64 Zelda game is gonna take like more than a week, which would have just completely fucked this schedule all up. And third, yes, I'm basically living under the modern version of like an ancient curse, where if I don't eventually play the entire Zelda series, Lodrillhigh is going to find me and murder me. So, yeah, it's gonna happen. Everything broke when the company updated everyone's PCs, and she was like, oh, I'll just go double all the numbers. You can skip Skyward Sword, though. That's not up to me to hit. That's not up to me. Yes, this is a cry for help. Play in chronological order. Motherfucker, nobody knows what Zelda's chronological order is. The language had a sleep milliseconds routine. Nah, I'm willing to be reasonable. If you skip the Tingle side games, I won't hurt you. Oh, yay. Chronological orders trigger and then cross. We read Nintendo Power, we can't ignore some of those massive first. Oh, of course not. Yeah, no way. No way. Nintendo Power is not like, I mean, it's not even a rule. Again, it's a direction, but Nintendo Power is not beholden to the weird old direction. We're gonna play anything that's interesting in Nintendo Power. That is the rule there. We read the magazine and we play the game, and that's all we worry about. And if we want to play the entire game, we play the entire game, and if we don't, we don't. And that's that. I love the Power Hours. God, I already missed the Power Hours. We haven't even started Spooktober, and I already missed the Power Hours. I have the Hyrule Historia. The only reason it's been on my mind so much lately is I brought up as a possibility for Doom and then backed down and kept fucking thinking about it because what I do. Oh, what was it? Oh, I missed the first half of that. Mad Rat Dead. Good game that I don't think enough people know about. It's also on Switch. Oh, okay. Excited for Star Fox 64? I'm excited for N64 games eventually because I really didn't give that system much of a chance. I had a handful of games. I had Mario 64, Wave Race, Shadows of the Empire, GoldenEye. I think that might have been it. I think I only ever really played 4 games on the N64, so I realized I missed out on a lot. I actually like Skyward Sword and don't like Wind Waker. I know I'm an outlier on that. The entire rest of chat will never let him skip the tingles. Skyward Sword is definitely old. Maybe someday Elijah will play it long after her brain stops obsessing like ADHD usually does. Love Wind Waker, like Twilight Princess, and I'm a Wii, so I skipped Skyward. You didn't need anything else. You had Shadows of the Empire. I did everything. I did everything you could do in Shadows of the Empire. I found every single fucking secret. I did all the secret modes where you could fly as a TIE fighter or an X-Wing against the Skyhook at the end. I really liked that game. I was really into that. It was frustrating as fuck, but man, I was really into that game. And of course, GoldenEye is an all-time great. True classic. Kicking myself for selling Person of Lordly Caliber. Skip the N64 completely. It's one of the few consoles I never pursued or visited. Passed by the PSX. That was me in the GameCube. I never had a GameCube. I played precious few GameCube games. The only ones I played were the ones that my friend had. My roommate in college. And the only one I really got into on GameCube was actually Mario Kart Double Dash. That is far and away my favorite Mario Kart game, and I 100%ed that. I did literally everything you can do in Mario Kart Double Dash. Sorry, kids. Dash Rendar is fucking. He's not dead. They put him in the They put him in that shitty Star Wars mobile game that I play. Dash Rendar and his incredible shoulder pads are alive and well, friends. He'll show up he'll be a cameo in the background of a Disney Plus scene or something. Don't worry, he'll be fine. He'll be exactly where he deserves. Have the Wii U remaster Wind Waker and still haven't played it. Finished Twilight Princess HD last year. First time played through the entire game. Dungeons were okay. Overworld's empty. Weren't any side quests. I gotcha. I know the games get some serious bloat the further we go. I mostly want Otter to get through the N64 games. Does he show up in Jedi Academy? Oh shit. Outrider is in episode 4's DVD release. Oh, like the special edition. He does not. That's Kyle Katarn, the better Dash Rendar. One of the funniest moments in game is playing the PS2 version of RE4 after beating the GameCube version a bunch. It was just loading screens. Dash Riprock, amazing. Yeah, Kyle is my boy. Kyle is the one that I'm waiting breathlessly to reappear in a Disney Plus series. Dash, they can keep that. Dash is fine where he is. Oh shit, taking off from the cantina? Oh shit, that's interesting. Hugely important element of Zelda for you is the exploration, the adventure. Same. I would definitely agree with that. Well, we will see eventually. Like I said, I'm on the hook for it. Next Zelda game that I have to play is Link's Awakening. We've only played the first 3. So, yeah. And Link's Awakening, if we do end up waiting until we hit it in the magazine, Link's Awakening is issue 50. So we're still a ways off from that. So, and then it's going to be the Oracle games, and then I guess it'll be the N64 games. Not the Switch remake? I don't know, actually. I'm kind of interested in the Switch remake, and I know the Switch remake includes the color dungeon from Link's Awakening DX, right? I have the original Game Boy one right here. I mean, we can absolutely do that. That's the one I know and I love. Switch remake ruined the fucking music. We'll have to talk about it when we get closer to that. When we start getting serious about doing Link's Awakening, because I'm open to suggestion. Between the original Game Boy release, the Game Boy Color release, and the Switch remake. Switch remake's biggest problem is it doesn't adhere to the grid, so it kills the pacing. It doesn't let you do the. Well, I don't do the map warp anyway. Has nice quality of life features, but it's too expensive. Yeah, and anything that's on the Switch, I just know I'm gonna be burning money on it. So. Link's Awakening DX is straight up better, and I've never played that one, so it could be pretty interesting. Established in... What an unfortunate abbreviation. Jedi Outcast that Kyle knows Lando, so I'd like to see him in a Lando series or vice versa. I would turn into one of these Star Wars fans I hate that claps like a trained monkey whenever some, like, legacy character shows up. I would turn into that if Kyle Katarn showed up in one of these fucking series. Link's Awakening DX is the way to go. Okay. Again, we'll come back to it, but I will keep that in mind. I will probably plan to do the GBC one. Seriously loving Andor so far? Me too. I'm liking Andor a lot. I clapped when I saw the video game character. I know. I hate those people so much. The people who cried at the end of Mando season 2. I was like, oh, you fuck it. You're what's wrong with Star Wars fandom. And then I'm sitting here like I will 100% weep nerd boy tears if Kyle Katarn gets like 5 seconds of screen time in anything. He doesn't even need lines. Just show me. Just show me the Katarn. That's all I ask. Kyle Katarn showing up would be awesome, so many people wouldn't have a clue. I know, yeah. There'd be like no point to doing it. I mean, Andor has a surprising number of little like Easter eggs and references and stuff. Like, you know, Kyle Katarn's gun is the one that the Cassian's running around with, which is pretty cool. Me with Thrawn. Who's Kyle Katarn? The protagonist from the Dark Forces games. Dark Forces, Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast. So, he's big with middle-aged Star Wars nerds like me, who basically grew up with the old Star Wars games. Yeah. Yep, here I am shitting my pants over a Briar pistol, yep. Did people cry at the end of Mando season 2? Zem, I hate to be the one who has to inform you, but yes. People were weeping man-child tears over the character that shows up at the end of Mando season 2. Was it Academy? I don't actually know. I've never played Academy. And I guess we're probably not going to after Outcast was such a flop for me. It seems silly. It's Star Wars is mainly propelled by I can't even talk. Star Wars is mainly propelled by nostalgia these days. Like the people keeping Star Wars afloat and keeping it in the news and buying the merchandise and subscribing to Disney Plus and stuff are the people who just want to see their characters come back over and over and over again. And that is honestly the big thing that I hate about Star Wars, is that it just has the worst time moving away from the original trilogy. And I feel like the evolution of The Mandalorian is the perfect example of that, because season 1 is exactly what I wanted. It's basically, they made a new character with a new conceit and a new adventure, and like, yeah, he sometimes goes to familiar places and sometimes runs into references to older characters and stuff. And that's cool. That's great. That's exactly what I wanted. And then Mando season 2 is just like, it starts okay, and then it just becomes this revolving door of like, hey, remember this character? Hey, remember this character? Hey, remember this character? And when they're deep cuts, it's all right. And then by the end, it's just like, nope, here's... I piddled because the Dark Troopers. Yeah, I kind of... Can't get myself to try Andor because I did not like Rogue One. I don't... I don't actually feel like Andor and Rogue One are that related. There might be a little bit of tonal influence, but for me, I love Rogue One, but my big complaint about Rogue One is the characters. All of the characters seem really, really thin. They feel like they're fulfilling roles instead of like actual characters you get invested in. Andor does not have that problem. Andor has like pretty interesting characters, especially on the bad guy side. Don't think you ever finished Academy, but I played Jedi Outcast. Jedi Outcast is where I fall off of the Dark Forces series. I really don't like it. They did have fucking Werner Herzog. It's amazing. There's only 2 really good Star Wars pieces of non-interactive media, and I won't budge from this hill. I'm definitely warmer on Star Wars than that. But I've always, for a long time, I've I've kind of felt like Star Wars may be majority bad at this point. Biggest truths I ever heard about Star Wars is that many fans love it for what it could have been. That makes sense to me, yeah. A few summers ago, I watched all 9 of the mainline Star Wars movies with friends. I'd never seen any of the films before. I knew things through osmosis. I literally came out of the experience knowing as much as I did going in. Wasn't for... Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Sometimes I think Star Wars was something you kind of had to be there for. Like, you kind of had to be caught up in the craze of the original trilogy. I know for my kids think Star Wars is neat and all. My older daughter loves Mandalorian. That's like her one thing. She doesn't care about anything else. We started watching the Obi-Wan series. She was out after one episode. I didn't even try Andor with her. I can't get her to watch any of the animated series, but she fucking loves Mando. So she found something in there that she really liked, so. Happy to watch Mandalorian Season 3. I refuse to watch the trailer. You kind of mad you did. Friends and I binged the 6 movies while playing the open beta for Old Republic and drinking heavily. One of my friends did not remember how to play his character the next day. That's awesome. Rebels is good. I like Rebels a lot. And this is coming from somebody who could not finish the Clone Wars. I know a lot of Star Wars fans swear by the Clone Wars, but I can't do it. It's ultimately not for me, but I like Rebels. I think Rebels is solid. I found a Star Wars property she likes, so I'll keep her. Someone didn't stir up on Star Wars. You like the first 6. Because as bad as some of them they are, each of them felt like a passion project that made them fun. That's a good point. That is a good point. 1, 2, and 3 managed to feel significantly different. Give some actual interesting context. I can see that. In Academy, when you're getting a tutorial from Katarn, keep in mind the whole light side, dark side conflict of Star Wars. Cal straight up tells you the Force is just a tool, no power is inherently evil, it's what you do that defines it. Too much of a kid's cartoon? Alright, see you later, Trade-On. Thanks for coming out. So, like, honestly, like, Rebels is even more of a kid's cartoon, but I feel like it handles it better than the Clone Wars does. I feel like the Clone Wars is trying to tell like a really serious, like really like dramatic and impactful story within the context of a kids show, and it kind of ends up trying too hard on that front. Whereas Rebels, I feel like just kind of slips into it. It does it the same way something like, you know, like the old Disney cartoons would, like DuckTales or Aladdin, where it's like a, you know, it's a fun lighthearted adventure, and then when you get further into it and they start expanding the lore and like things, like the tone starts to shift, then you're like, oh shit, it works. Thrawn canonized Thrawn in Rebels is fantastic. Thrawn is really, really good. I honestly really like what they did with it. Pretty much the perfect age for Clone Wars is coming out. Never played Alien Isolation because I'd probably scream and throw my controller at the screen at least once. I can't rule the possibility of requiring new pants partway through. Lojahai, is that a rumination for community night, perhaps? Because I have talked about doing Alien Isolation at some point. Rebels is basically Star Wars Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes. Canonizing TIE Defenders, yeah. I know I'm in the minority of this. Definitely not the majority. I honestly really like the way that Disney is handling the old extended universe stuff. I know a lot of people were really pissed when they threw out all the like the old novels and all of that stuff. I think they made the right call. I think it worked out because the old extended universe stuff was mostly garbage. There were a couple gems in there, and everything else was trash. It was bad. It was bad enough to put me off of Star Wars for like a decade. I think what Disney is doing by identifying parts of the extended universe like Thrawn and TIE Defenders and bringing them into their stories, still in similar roles that they had in the extended universe, but fit in with the new modern canon stories, I think is the best way to handle it. Tabletop RPG has the TIE Phantom. Oh, I remember the TIE Phantom from Rebel Assault 2. Is that the Cabbage Guy in the new Avatar live action thing to be played by the voice actor for the Cabbage Guy? TIE Phantom was like a Deus Ex Machina, but yeah, definitely. A lot of the old EU can definitely feel like to Star Wars what Archie Sonic is to Sonic games. Yeah. There is... If you actually wanted to save the parts of the EU, I really don't think there's a lot that you could work with. Like the Bounty Hunter stories the most. You know, I think it was the Bounty Hunter stories actually that was the final nail in the coffin for me at the time, because I was really into the Star Wars novels when I was a kid, and I hit. Like, I read the Thrawn trilogy, and that was amazing at the time. Although, in retrospect, that had some serious issues. I will never see eye to eye with the people who thought that the new trilogy should have just been the Thrawn trilogy. Fucking no. There is too much weird cruft with that. It never would have worked. But when I was a kid, I loved it. I liked the Jedi Academy trilogy. I liked, oh god, Truce at Bakura, Courtship of Princess Leia, and then I started to get into the later novels, like the Crystal Star and Darksaber, and that's when it started to get really stupid. What should have been what trilogy? I have heard Star Wars fans, big fans of the old Star Wars extended universe stuff, who said instead of the new trilogy of Star Wars movies, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, they think Disney should have adapted the old Timothy Zahn Thrawn trilogy. What the fuck were those books called? Shit, I can't even remember now. What's the first? I can't remember the first of the Thrawn. I think the second was called Dark Forces Rising, I think. Heir to the Empire. That's right. Heir to the Empire, Dark Forces Rising, and the last something. Last Command or something? Last Command, that was it. Wow, we've been through 2 whole ones. Truce was one of those that really started to push you off of it. Yeah, Crystal Star and Darksaber are really bad. They are really that's the one. Crystal Star and Darksaber those are the ones where Luke Skywalker gets a new girlfriend who is the mind, like the soul of an old Republic Jedi who was trapped in a puzzle box, transplanted into the body of like one of his hot Jedi students. No, I will not. I need people to understand how bad the old EU stuff was. I need you to understand this. It was bad. It got... It got bad. What happened to the actual hot Jedi student? Not important. I know about Han Solo fucking Force-sensitive otter. There are no other slides. This is the last one. The only other thing I was gonna do tonight is I mean, you see the schedule. I was gonna talk through the rest of the schedule, and then if y'all were curious, I could give you more specific information about your nominations. Anything that didn't end up on here, I could tell you the fate of it. I could tell you how well it did, what it ranks similarly to. At some point I need to talk about some of the Archie Sonic comic arcs, because this has that energy. Ever heard of the Nomad Soul? No. What about Nightmare Creatures and Martian Gothic? Would have liked to see the votes. Let's see here. Just show us the numbers? Okay. I guess I can do that. Alright, hang on. Let's see here. Here. Give me 1 second to get out of this. Set up Steam. I don't want to update anything yet. All right, this might be a little hard to see here, but we'll give it a try. You know, I could probably hang on. Let's zoom in on this and go down the list then. Okay, so 31 responses total. Didn't put my nomination on the vote. Probably for the exact reason I didn't actually nominate it till Toast also mused on it. Alright, so let's see. I did not read the Dark Forces novellas, no. Twitch is down to 140p for you, so I can't see shit. Alright, so Clock Tower led with 17 votes. Eternal Darkness had 15. Parasite Eve had 14. Let's see. There it is. Seventh Guest had 12. Then there was the tier with 11, System Shock, and Mystery of the Druids. I laugh every time I think about that. Yeah, then the Echo Knight tier had 10. The Undying tier had 9. Okay, so right below that. Okay, so the games that just missed getting on the list, that had 8 votes. I came real close to these. I came really, really close to grabbing at least one of these. Estatica got 8. Fear got 8. And that's right, Clive Barker's Jericho got 8. One more vote, and Jericho actually would have been in consideration. Below that, Medieval, Rule of Rose, Castlevania. This is where Shin Megami Tensei ended up. Darkseid 2 and Waxworks were the tier below that. Getting 6 votes was the Dark Eye, Devil's Crush, Baroque. Oh, I skipped over Kudelka. Kudelka got 7. Baroque. Cold Fear was here. Anchorhead, Veil of Darkness. 5 votes was Scratches. This is where I know some of you were worried about Doom 3. I know some of you were going to be pretty salty if we actually did Doom 3. You didn't have to worry about that. That was not something to concern yourself with. Blood, Condemned, Shadow Man, Nightmare. So Nightmare Creatures 2 got 5. Nightmare Creatures 1 got 4. Martian Gothic got 5. Screamin' Mad George got 5. Countdown Vampires got 5. 4 was Nosferatu. We're gonna play Nosferatu. Nosferatu shows up in Nintendo Power. This is an SNES game. So you're gonna see this one anyway. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Nightmare Creatures, and then, all right. 3 was Shadow Hearts, Overblood, 6 Days a Stranger, Text Adventures, Lurking Horror, Personal Nightmare, The Legacy, Realm of Terror. Nocturne got 2. That, I would like to do Nocturne sometime. I hope this is because people didn't know what it was. And then, of course, Blood Rain got 1. So, yeah. I think, so it feels to me, personally, like Nocturne, funny enough, Nocturne is by Terminal Reality, the same developers as Blood Rain. It is a third person. It was not Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. It is, let me see if, hang on. Let me see if I can find something on Nocturne. All right, hang on, music. I need to show you. Mute this. Here, take a look at this. I muted this because I don't know if some idiot's gonna be talking over it. Like, who wants to listen to some moron talk over video games? Let me find the gameplay here. Here we go. So, in Nocturne, you play as this guy, this really tight-ass looking guy, the Stranger or something. It's basic. Wow, this is really fucking dark. Yeah, you walk around like this with your guns out. Only very specific morons. But it's a third-person action game. You're part of like you're part of this paranormal investigation agency. I forget what it's called. In the 1920s, I want to say. It's kind of like the BPRD. Kind of got a bit of a Hellboy vibe to it, except you're not playing as a literal devil. I actually have the disc for this game. I actually have this on CD. My dad and I used to play this. We never got Spook House. That was it. Thank you so much, Dom. We never got very far in it, but it was terrifying to us way back in the day. So yeah, this is something that I wanted to mention about how this whole vote went down. I feel like in general, games that people knew, games that people had heard of, did better. And I mean, just look at the top game. Clock Tower, Eternal Darkness, Parasite Eve. Those are all pretty familiar names, right? Seventh Guest, I mean, I can't imagine a lot of people here have played Seventh Guest, but a lot of people have heard of Seventh Guest at least. System Shock. Mystery of the Druids is well known by way of memes. So, I think there was a lot of stuff in the more obscure games that people just didn't know about. And I think that may have been a product of just having so many games and it being too difficult to go through and Google 50 different games to see what was there. I think there's a very important example here of what to do in the future. Monster Bass did really, really well, and fucking nobody knew about this game until Shadows. You brought this one up, right? You were the one who introduced us to this, right? And when we found out about this game, I was super excited. Everybody else is super excited. It shot up the vote. It made the list. It's gonna get played. Probably one of the most obscure games on this entire list, and it did really well, specifically because it was talked up. So I think recognition, I think familiarity is a very important factor in these votes. So I heartily encourage y'all, when we're doing votes, when we're doing nominations, talk up your game. Like, share what you know about your games. Like, sell them to people. That's basically, you're basically campaigning for a game. Like, you have the power to do that. Either in chat here when we're streaming stuff, or in Discord. Like, these channel, like the Next Game channel, the Spooktober channel, are the perfect places to talk up games that you're really excited about, that you want other people to get excited about. It worked for Monster Bass. It can work for you. People are sick of me talking again. No, they're not. No, they're not. Nobody is going to give anybody a hard time for talking about a game they like. I mean, you can see that in the Deathmarks channel right now. People are having a big to-do about the games that they think should go on there. You know, there's a lot of different discussion. A lot of different directions it can go in, and people are having a really good time talking about the games that they're interested in. So sick that you love the game you love. What's up, Library Man? So now I could talk about Monster Girl Island in chat, but we can't put it on the vote as scary as getting banned is. Yes, I would prefer you keep your game enthusiasm to things that I can actually stream without getting viciously, aggressively banned. Radiant Silvergun needs to get played, though. I am seriously thinking, since you mentioned it, I am seriously thinking about doing some kind of shmup series or season or something after Spooktober sometime. Maybe December. I am debating maybe December. I really want to play some shmups. I like shmups. I don't play a whole lot of shmups. I know there's a ton of them out there. Shmupsember. Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds awesome. You know what stuck with me? You know what I really, really enjoyed lately from streams? Last time we did the wheel, I really liked that Toho game. I still think about that Toho game. I had a fucking blast playing that. Do you like Bullet Hell? I do like Bullet Hells. Fuck yeah, go back to it. Let's go. Yeah, so as soon as I found out there was a game called Monster Bass, as soon as I found out there was a horror fishing game, I had to find out about it. And yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, holy shit, look at this. This is like, and it was like a perfect example of what I was interested in. I saw that Toho rhythm game, that's cool. Need to play Caves, Bullet Hells. Newest version of Nova Drift deserves a revisit, so much deeper now. I would like to go back to that too. Monster Bass and Indie Joint, I don't know about, I don't know what else that developer made, so I couldn't really say. It's on PS1, and most people haven't heard about it, so. May I make a suggestion for a PSP1 Night in the Nightmare? That will depend entirely on how easy it is to emulate PSP games. Small devs, not quite indie. Mushi Hime-sama on Steam or Switch, as long as you don't care too much about the score system. Oh, you don't know where to start. But yeah, I mean, there's so much ground to cover with shmups. Like, I played some of the big name ones, but there's a lot. There's so many. There's entire subgenres of shmups I don't know fucking anything about. Desitopia was cool. I like that one. I tend to like whatever shmups we play. I really tend to lean into those. I've noticed. I'll wait for it to show up in Nintendo Piracy if you like it before trying to motion for his Doom stream. Legend of the River King is a fucking insanely interesting series. I have done Zero Ranger, yes. Zero Ranger is great. Time to make him play 1942. You already did! I played a bunch of 1942. Yeah, it does. I don't want to sound arrogant. I really don't like that, but I do feel like I am pretty good at shmups. And that definitely helped. It's so much. Those of you that don't stream, you might not know like the huge difference it makes to actually be good at something that you're streaming. It takes a lot of the pressure off. Because I mean, there's so many things you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about making making progress because you just do. You don't have to worry about like disappointing or frustrating people in the chat because you're just chugging along. You don't have to worry about getting good. You can just kind of cruise along with what's going on and keep the discussion moving. That's why you sit comfortably in your wheelhouse. Yeah. So I'm too moody, and I enjoy discovering new things too much to just pick a wheelhouse that specific to sit in. But yeah, I suppose an alternate Oddish out there probably could have done pretty well just doing a shmup channel. Constantly amazed how well you do every time we throw one at you. You cleared Parodia so fucking easily in your first going straight. Y'all can make me blush. I feel so weird when people say nice. I feel especially weird when chat says nice things about me. I'm not exactly used to this. Any horror shmups to boot up now as we chat? The only ones I can think of are on the NES, and I played them. Abadox and Zombie Nation. If there are more recent ones, I can't think of them. I'm sure there are. Yeah. R-Type 3. Actually, chat, I think what I'm going to do, as much as I would like to keep going this, I think I'm going to end a little bit early, because I can kind of feel myself fading. It has been a really long week, and I am really tired. And I have done what I have set out to do. I've announced the schedule. I've made it clear. In fact, let's throw it up one more time, just so everybody's on the same page here. Been tired all day, struggling, yeah. Here we go. All right. Here we go. All right. Struggling to do some exercise earlier. Yeah, it's been an exhausting week for me. It's been a very fun week. I've had a really good time with the streams we've done this week, and man, I've been so excited to get started on this. To actually reveal to y'all the size and the shape and the scope of Spooktober, and to get to the actual. Yeah, I'm gonna need some sleep for tomorrow. So yes, as a reminder, tomorrow night we are starting Clock Tower. And we'll see how far we get into Clock Tower. I may need to do one of our rare Sunday streams to wrap it up. On Monday, we'll be starting 7th Guest. Wednesday, thereabout, we should be playing Undying. Second week of October, starting on the 10th, will be Eternal Darkness. 2 weeks from tonight is D and Monster Bass Night. Third week of October will be Echo Night 2 for the first half. On Thursday, we're going to do Splatterhouse. I know Splatterhouse probably isn't going to take a single night. I've got a plan for this, but I need to conspire with Manic regarding this. Friday the 21st, Faith, the Unholy Trilogy comes out. I must play it. I must play it. I must stream it. You must watch it. I'm giving up 2 days for this to make sure we get through the whole trilogy. I'm going to be starting from the very beginning. 4th week of October, Monday the 24th, Mystery of the Druids. I know some of you fuckers can't wait for this shit. I'm giving that 2 nights. God Christ, I hope it's 2 nights. Wednesday the 26th, Parasite Eve. Hopefully we can get through Parasite Eve in 4 nights. If we need 5, I got Sunday. And then Monday, Halloween is community night. Don't forget, I am going to run the community night selection for both theme and game. Y'all are free to pick anything out there, as long as it is horror, and it's going to be a full playthrough. This is not a normal community night. I am letting you pick our next full playthrough that starts on Halloween night. So, 7th Guest did have a sequel, The 11th Hour. I don't believe it's an improvement on the original. Oh god, Phantasmagoria. Not a Roguelike has told me too many horror stories about Phantasmagoria to ever stream it. Are we allowed to yeet you to a few early bets? Oh, yeah. So the plan for Clock Tower is I'm going to flail around for a bit I'm just gonna wander around and try to get my bearings, and I'm sure die a lot. Y'all are more than welcome to direct me to bad endings. When I'm tired of doing that, I'm probably gonna go straight to a walkthrough and just walk my ass through the actual game. Because my understanding is Clock Tower can be pretty finicky in how you actually complete it. So that's the plan anyway. So, all right, chat. That's the schedule. That's the plan. There will be a lot more information in Discord. I'm going to post a schedule in the schedule channel so that we'll have this ready all month. I'm also going to be doing some stuff in the Spooktober channel, more than just organizing for community night. We're going to talk a bit more about what we're going to do with terrors. Now that the game selection process is done, I want to give you all some other stuff to do with terrors. I'm not ready to reveal anything yet, but I do have some ideas. And I'll need a little help from y'all on some of them. So, with that said, chat, I think it's time to go find somebody to raid. I think let's go throw somebody an early raid, and then I am going to go convalesce. I'm going to go fucking collapse. Ooh. All right, I am going to go throw you all at McQueeb. McQueeb seems like he's playing Bone Razor Minions, which is a neat little game. Let's go hang out. Actually, I'm not sure what he's doing, but let's go fly over there anyway. I might be sending you there for the conclusion. I don't know. Whatever it is, I like McQueeb. Hopefully you do too. So yeah, thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you for listening to me ramble for almost 2.5 hours about Spooktober games and Star Wars. That tends to happen, doesn't it? I hope you all are excited about the schedule. I am insanely excited for this. There is a ton of stuff on here that I've never played and really want to play, that I only played a little bit and I really want to play. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun month. And hopefully I will see you all tomorrow night for Clock Tower. But until then, as always, y'all take care. Bye, everybody.